Hey everybody, and welcome to the November 8th, 2022 meeting of Henderson County Fiscal Court. We are glad you're with us this morning, and for those watching online, we're glad to see you as well. We're going to begin, as we always do, with an invocation. Reverend Charles Johnson, Greater Norris Chapel Baptist Church, and also the head of the Human Rights Commission is here to lead us in prayer. Please stand.
Judge, we certainly keep your family and youth in our thoughts and prayers at the loss of your Thank you. So, sorry to hear about that, so we'll keep you in our prayers. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for this day and just for allowing us to wake up this morning. And we ask that you help us to be good stewards of our time and our services today. Bless this election nationally as well as locally. We pray for peace, whatever the outcomes may be. And let us work with those that are in office and may be in office. And bless our community as a whole. That you keep your loving arms around us. And pray for the judge and his family and the loss of his mother. Pray for our nation. Pray for our military men and women who are serving for the rights and freedoms that oftentimes we take for granted. And we just ask all these things in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Reverend. Mr. Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Manager Putman.
Here.
Manager Moran.
Here.
Manager McCollum.
Here.
Manager Berry.
Here.
Manager Southard is absent today.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have before you the minutes of the October 25th, 2022 Fiscal Court meeting. After a period of review, I'll entertain a motion to approve those.
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other corrections, clarifications, or additions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? First on the agenda is a proclamation honoring Native American Heritage Month, and we have a representative from the Daughters of the American Revolution who suggested we proclaim this Native American Heritage Month to recognize it. If you wouldn't mind coming to the podium and might introduce yourself.
Jimmy McGrail Deal.
Thank you. You talk a little bit about the DAR's interest in Native American Heritage Month.
Yes, we've been celebrating it this whole month, and we want to just honor our Native American heritage.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, we'll have the clerk read the proclamation.
Whereas the history and culture of our great nation has been significantly influenced by American Indians and indigenous people, and whereas the contributions of American Indians have enhanced the freedom, prosperity, and greatness of American today, and whereas their customs and traditions are respected and celebrated as part of a rich legacy throughout the United States, and whereas Native American Awareness Week began in 1976, and recognition was expanded by Congress and approved by President George Bush in August of 1990, designating the month of November as National American Indian Heritage Month. And whereas in honor of National American Indian Heritage Month, community celebrations as well as numerous cultural, artistic, educational, and historical activities have been planned. Now therefore, I, Brad Schneider, by virtue of the authority vested in me as County Judge Executive of the County of Henderson, Kentucky, do hereby proclaim November as National American Indian Heritage Month in Henderson County, and encourage all citizens to observe this month with appropriate programs, celebrations, and ceremonies.
Thank you very much. Make sure the fellow members of the DAR see you've done that, and I appreciate the suggestion. I believe you've all had in your packet the Planning Commission recommendation on case number 1136. Without any further comment, we will move on to a resolution declaring some county road department surplus property and Nick Stallings, if you wouldn't mind coming up if you want to put some of this in tech context.
All right, in your list, we have some surplus equipment. We have the old rollback. As you know, that's been replaced with the newer standard automatic shift, so we don't have so many restrictions on the drivability of that. With the mechanism for the rollback truck, so that's why we have the old one in there for surplus. We also have the old Gradall. That one is 12 years old, and it is ready for surplus. Those are the main pieces that we have. The rest of them are just odds and ends that needs to be surplus off the property to get the value that the county can get out of them.
And we were talking the other day, you thought we might be able to get pretty good cash back for these items? And
Yes, especially there's been a lot of interest on the rollback. There's a lot of companies around town, utilize that one. It's a good vehicle, low miles. It's got a lot of value still left in that vehicle. It was just being a standard shift. We've got a lot of restrictions now with the newer drivers that don't run standard shift rather than automatic. So we have more versatility having an automatic. So
yeah, driving manual stick in any vehicle is a dying art.
it is, and so now they've got to where the CDLs. If you show up in automatics, you run automatics, and you've got that restriction. So it's a lot more versatility with the automatic truck that we got. So this one's still awesome. Got a lot of value. We've had a lot of interest in it. So it'll be a good surplus for the county.
Make a motion to approve?
We're going to read a resolution.
Okay.
Any other questions, Nick? Read the resolution, please.
Resolution declaring certain county property to be surplus and providing for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court is the owner of certain personal property that is no longer of use to the county, whereas pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the Fiscal Court finds that it is in the best interest of the county to deem the property as surplus and provide for the disposition thereof. Whereas the Henderson Fiscal Court wishes to offer the said personal property to be sold by public auction in accordance with the law at the discretion of the Henderson County Judge Executive. Now therefore be it resolved by the Fiscal Court, County of Henderson, Kentucky as follows. Pursuant to KRS 67.0802, the personal property on the list attached hereto and incorporated herein is declared to be surplus. It shall be sold at a duly advertised public auction or online auction pursuant to all applicable laws at such time and place in such manner as shall be arranged by the County Judge Executive. The County Judge Executive or his designee is hereby authorized to make said arrangements.
You get a motion to approve that?
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Brett, I apologize. We were talking, and I have no questions about the Planning Commission recommendation. I'm happy to let it go into effect by operation of law, but I didn't hear if we said anything about it or not.
You just did.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You did. You have in your packets the Sheriff's monthly report. Sheriff Crafton, anything to add? Entertain a motion to approve the Sheriff's monthly report.
So moved.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. Any other questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? On a added note, we just got the first round of property tax checks sent to us. It's a good start, I'll say that. A good start. So, thank you very much. Mr. Gold, your report.
Well, Judge, we've got about a $30,000 plus reimbursement check I thought we were going to have and we're waiting on. It's going to be great to turn that over, but that didn't come in yet, so I have two checks of a whopping $11.34 and $3.78 for interest, totaling $15.12 today, bringing the fiscal year total to date to $36,615.88.
We're really cheap. We'll take anything. I make a motion to accept.
Every little bit, right?
Second.
We have a motion and a second, and trust that we will take care of these pennies just as forthrightly as we would take care of $30,000 checks. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Now, Ms. Ryder.
There are no transfers today. I do have claims from the general fund to Visa, $647.22. This is for EMA training expense and is to come from the EMA supplies appropriation line. To HDC, which is Human Development Company, $633.36. This is the quarterly employee assistance program and is to come from the employee assistance program appropriation line. From the road fund to ABBA's Music, $2,794. This is for upgrades of the fairgrounds PA system and is to come from the Parks and Programs Supplies appropriation line. To Audubon Sand and Gravel, $10,391.10. This is for rock and is to come from the Rocks Materials appropriation line. To J.H. Rudolph, $714,293.29. This is for paving and is to come from the resurfacing blacktop appropriation line. From the LGEA fund to the Henderson Shrine Club, $500. This is the budgeted appropriation for the Christmas parade and is to come from that appropriation line. From the jail fund to Advanced Document Solutions, $1,175.99. This is for the copier lease and is to come from the data processing equipment appropriation line. To U.S. Bank, which is the credit card, $4,181.81. The majority of this is to come from the office supplies and prisoner transports appropriation lines. From the ARPA funds to the Henderson City County Rescue Squad, $31,875. This is for the Cascade equipment replacement, and this was approved at the April 12, 2022 meeting.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Thank you.
Did anybody have any old business?
You know, I've been talking about getting easements on our roads, and of course our engineer's been talking about taking some trees and things, trying to work to make our roads a little safer and maybe widen the roads at some point in time, and you can't do that without easements. Our clerk found an old document that I'd been looking for that I couldn't find. It was a easement form that I created for the magistrates a long time ago, and it may not be up to date, Steve, because I think there's a consideration clause that's supposed to be in there, or at least something saying that it's not buildable property or something that we need to change. But if Kurt could give that, send that to everybody and to the engineer, and just, I mean, something similar to that, make it sort of simple. When somebody wants something, if we can get them to sign an easement and then get it on the GIS map, I think it will help us in the future.
And we're working on bringing that up. There's a couple statutes like that. It needs to be tweaked a little bit, but we're working on that.
It was really old, and I don't know where Kurt found it. I looked and looked and looked and could not find it. I found some that had been signed and had been done. My family gave right of way on Wilson Station Road and on Kings Mill Road, and those easements don't exist. I found copies of them, but they never were recorded, and I think Kurt has found several of those kind of things that weren't recorded, and probably we need over time to go through and try to find them in our, I mean, they should have been recorded in the clerk's office for posterity and to make sure if we ever need to do something. But on Kings Mill, they needed to, the people were trapped. When the floodwaters came up, they had no way to get out, and so we allowed them to take dirt off of our land and build up the road in order to keep that roadway for people wouldn't be trapped whenever the floodwaters from Howling Creek came up. And but you know, another person owns half of that now, or my family sold part of that, and if we ever had to do anything to that, there's no written documentation that there ever was an easement. So if we can find it, that would be good. I don't have a problem giving a new one for my half of the road, but I can't do it for the part of the road that's been sold. So it's really important that we get those kind of things recorded. I'm sorry the prior fiscal courts didn't see fit to do that, but hopefully we can do that and get those things put on maps where they
makes it really easy to look and see if we need to do something. I just look on the GIS map and I've got the right of way. I can do it. I can widen it. I can fix the bridge. I can do whatever it is. It's just, I think in the big scheme of things, it's important.
Any other old business? We'll turn to good of the county. If anybody in the audience would like to say anything for good of the county. We'll turn to our magistrates. Magistrate Moran, welcome back. I know you had a very pleasant, long-planned trip to Europe, and we're glad to see you.
It's good to be back. I don't really, it's everything as far as I know is well, and I had several calls while I was gone and texts and things from people, so I answered all those. But I'm sorry I missed the forum and all that, but I appreciate you all and your support. And as far as I know, all is well, and good luck to everybody. So, thank you.
Thank you. Master Putman?
Thank you, Judge. All is good in the fourth. Just my condolences for the loss of your mother. That's a terrible thing, as we all know, but you can't say enough or can't do nothing. It's just, it's that time, as my mom used to say. It's just that time. And go vote. Everybody go vote. And all is good in the fourth.
Thank you. Master McCollum?
I would like to also, I'm sorry for your loss. Unfortunately, we were on a trip to Nashville, and my daughter saw that. Evidently, you put a song on something, and I wake up and my daughter's got tears running down her face from listening to that song about your mom. And I'm sorry. And everything's good in the fifth. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Master Berry?
Thank you, Judge. We spoke about your mom earlier, so I won't get into that a whole lot. But, hope everybody votes today. It'd be great if everybody did, which we know they won't, but hopefully as many as sees fit to will go vote. Blacktop season, I think that's all gone well. Appreciate Nick keeping me up on that and such, but that's about it. It's kind of short today, so we're good in the first, I believe. Thank you, Judge.
Thanks. Mr. Gold?
Condolences again, Judge. As far as the county attorney's office goes, a lot of good things are going on, a lot happening. And some of that has to do with changes from the legislature. Some of it has to do with changes from the state executive branch. Some of the things good, some of the things bad, as typically ends up with Frankfurt. It's usually a mixed bag. But things are going well. We're moving forward. Agree with Magistrate McCollum on the easements. That's something that had somehow gotten off the radar the last few decades. I think it's very wise for him to make sure that that's put back on. Do want to say, regardless of what happens in all the elections today, this county government team has been one of the most effective that I've seen here or in any other county. And I appreciate the opportunity to have worked with each and every one of you. I know there will be more meetings, and we'll talk about Magistrate McCollum's retirement probably toward the last one. But, I just, regardless of anything that happens in any of the elections, I think this fiscal court and this county government team has accomplished a lot within the last several years and done it in a way that has moved this county forward. And we've found ways to disagree without being disagreeable, and that's I think that's been a very healthy thing for our community, and I think that everybody on that team has made a real strong case for being reelected, and I hope that occurs.
Thank you, Steve. I completely agree with those sentiments. It's been an honor, and we've got time yet, obviously, before whatever's going to happen is going to happen. So, but I appreciate you saying that. I do appreciate the condolence offerings on behalf of my mother. If you've heard me talk about my mom in the context of Boys and Girls Clubs or otherwise, she was truly an extraordinary person. And I'm not just saying that because she was my mother. I think everybody who knew her would agree that she accomplished amazing things in her life as a single mom, raising 4 kids. I realized when I got older, as is the case, the older you get, the smarter your parents get. But I have no reason to complain about anything in my life, not one thing. I'm lucky. I think we're all lucky when we have parents who care and who are good role models, and my mom was certainly one. So thank you very much. I do want to say, give a lot of kudos to our road department. They've been working extra to clear a lot of trees out in the county that these recent windstorms have exposed as dangers, and they've been hunting them down and taking down trees, and it sounds like kind of a mundane thing, but not if you have one fall on you or have to drive over one. So I think that the danger of trees is something Nick Stallings is really focused on, and you're going to hear more about our ability to work on the things that are most dangerous to our drivers. And the number one thing he found that causes single accident fatalities are trees. Cars run off the road, hit a tree. And so they're really working on that, and I appreciate it. They are also continuing road work. The paving, the main paving projects are done, but they're working on shoulders. They're going to work on a couple of intersections. So they're still hard at work, and we'll keep working until the asphalt plants shut down when it gets cold. So keep going at it. I wish everybody good luck on the election, especially Magistrate Putman and Magistrate Berry. I hope you win. I'm going to call Tim Sutter later and say, hey, man, I know it's tough, but best of luck to you. And to Magistrate McCullum, who has seemed so calm and collected during this election season. So
It's been rough on me, I'm telling you. It's
Stressful.
been hard. It's been stressful, yeah.
Not to mention Mr. Gold, who keeps, I think, almost at times wanting somebody to come and
No, sir. 2 ways to run, unopposed and scared to death. Kind of like the unopposed better.
the next time you're in traffic court at midnight, I'll remember you said that.
Sometimes feel like a 4-year sentence instead of a 4-year term, but I love what I do.
It would
So-
make it a lot
Sometimes I wish
worse.
there's a little less.
It would make it a lot worse if you had to have an opponent but nobody wants that job. It is a 60 to 80 hour a week job, and didn't realize how much stress I was under until I got out of that one. That was nice. 24 years was enough.
I think Steve would concur.
Oh, yeah.
We need to go into executive session per KRS 61.8101C, discussions of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of a public agency. We're also going to be discussing potential land acquisition, and I forget the KRS on that. Same one? Okay. I do anticipate, one more thing, I'm sorry, and Kurt pointed out. We do have the spec in on the Judicial Center solar panel bid process. We're going to take it out to bid, see what we get. Mr. Gold and I had some back and forth on who might be best qualified to judge the bids, and what I've decided to do is go to the Henderson Water Utility, which went through a similar process recently, and they used some of their engineers to make a judgment. I thought we might just use their expertise and see if they can have some input that'll help us. In the end, this might save us some money in the long run on the Judicial Center, which will become ours soon enough. And anything we can do to reduce costs there that makes sense, we're going to do so. Be looking for that. I have expressed the need to go into executive session inside of the KRS. So, can I get a motion to that effect?
Second, I'm assuming yours was a motion to do that, and I'll make
Sure.
a second.
I make that motion. We have a second. Any other discussion? I do anticipate we will probably have a vote coming out of this. So just so you know. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We're going to go into executive session.